Coming to you live from my apartment, it's Rob Has a Podcast. And now here's the guy who's about to text you the mojo for podcasting. I'm Rob Cesternino. Everybody, welcome back to our first Sunday night of the season, talking Big Brother 19. And it was a busy Sunday night, one that we were not anticipating being so busy coming into the week. But we have I guess, I don't know if you would call it an eviction, but certainly a house guest leaving to discuss the debut of the Den of Temptation, and a lot going on in the live feeds here on our first weekend of the Big Brother season. So thank you for joining us. For those of you guys who are live, hashtag RHAP. Scott St. Pierre is standing by. We'll take your questions later on in the show. We'll try to do some questions about just the show, and then we'll do a bunch more at the end when we bring in everything from the live feeds. First, let me bring in a man who has been so busy these last couple of days. He has been bringing you live feed updates of the Big Brother weekend live feeds, or I guess Friday, Saturday, and Sunday now, 3 days in a row. Here is Taran Armstrong. Taran, how are you?
I'm great. Hard at work. I'm glad to have been invited into the podcast of Temptation.
Yes, thank you.
Very happy to be here.
And Taran, let me commend you. Great job that you have been doing. We've been having our Facebook Lives in the morning. Taran was with Alex Kidwell the last 2 days, and then this morning with Liana Boris. And then we'll be keeping those coming to you all summer long in the RHAP Ups feed. So be on the lookout for that. And then also a man who is all ready to go here with a new haircut for the Big Brother season. Here is Brent. Wolgamott. Brent, how are you?
Hey, Rob. I have a feeling a lot of your introduction jokes are going to be coming from hashtag things Kevin says. Definitely throughout the summer.
Great.
Yeah.
I love Kevin. I love Kevin, and the show loves Kevin. And I was a little bit during the cast assessment like, I don't get it. I mean, why this guy? You have so many people that you could have gone with. You want to have one older person. Why him? I get it. I'm all in on Kevin. So I have a lot of Kevin to talk about here tonight. Of course, crazy weekend on the live feeds as we've been discussing, certainly on the last couple of days of stuff that Taran has been doing. If you want to get your hands on the Big Brother live feeds, you can try it free for a week. Go to robhasawebsite.com/live feeds or click on one of the banners on robhasawebsite.com. And I guess we have to start here with Megan going out of the game. And it is something that was, I didn't think that we were going to get to tonight on the show. I thought that they might have dragged this out until Wednesday. But when the feeds came on Thursday night, the thing that we quickly realized was that Megan was not in the house anymore. And we got a very quick lead up. I think by the end of the first half hour, she was gone. And we saw, certainly from, I believe it was Thursday night, Josh yelled at her. We saw Cody say to her back on the other night, I don't like you. And that's why I'm putting you on the block. And then we saw everything that went down here with Pandagate, which ultimately led to her going into the diary room. And she did not look well in the diary room. She looked like she was, not doing great in the Big Brother house. We have come to find out via a announcement that she's been putting out there that she is chalking this up to a case of PTSD. Taran, where have we gotten this officially from?
Megan released a statement through some sort of website or journalistic some sort of something where they wrote an article where she had a statement. She said that, she was a victim of sexual assault and that she had PTSD. She had, she's obviously somebody who had spent time in war zones. So when she had these confrontations, it triggered her PTSD. She said she had a panic attack in the diary room, and that's why she made the decision to leave the game. She said it was a mutual decision between her and the producers, and that then she spent a couple of days in the hospital afterward.
Okay. So a couple of interesting, or maybe that's the wrong word, but, a couple of things about this. And certainly we want to be very sensitive to what Megan is going through. And it's something that, as a person who has been, not in any sort of remotely stressful situations compared to what our military goes through. I am in no place to speak about any of this. Do we know, though, did she disclose this? Was this a thing that she did not mention to the producers, or is this something that everybody was on the same page about and she went into the house anyway?
We do not know whether or not the producers knew, whether or not she understood that this was going to be a problem. All of that is, as far as I'm aware, not known at this time, and maybe not ever known. So we don't know those answers.
Yeah. Now, Brent, I thought it was interesting the way that they did this. And again, Big Brother has never been great at this in terms of like giving us a confessional from the person who's leaving the house. And there's also, different shades of people going out of the game, be it Evil Dick, Willie Hance, Shima, and now Megan. But it feels like that the show could have given us her, and again, she's very distraught, but some sort of like, this is really triggering this PTSD for me. I can't do this anymore. I'm sorry, everybody involved. I just can't stay here.
Well, I think if you're somebody who supports Megan and Megan's point of view, I feel like you would look at the show and say they hung her out to dry. I mean, they didn't show anything of that. They didn't show her giving a statement, and they didn't give a statement themselves. They could have put something at the end of the episode that said, we wish Megan the best. This is what happened. But they presented it to us in such a way where it looked like she quit. I mean, that's what I saw when I was watching the show tonight. Now, I know there are plenty of people who don't believe that she quit, but I feel like that it's an arguable point for a variety of reasons.
Just to be technical here, I don't know what else you could call it other than a quit, unless you want to say that she was medically evacuated for PTSD. I mean, there's like, not a lot of wiggle room in terms of that. I know that's not a flattering word, but right. I mean, she removed herself from the game. She was not pulled from the game like a Willie Hance, to our knowledge.
Right. This is the question I would like to ask everybody. Let's assume for the sake of argument that she's not a nominee, okay? Let's assume she's the head of household. Let's just say she won the first night and she's the head of household and she has people yelling at her. Do any of us think that she quits in that instance? Is the game just too much for her and she decides to leave and say, this is what happened? Because I don't think so. I think that there was a part of her, maybe a big part, a small part, that played her way out of the game. And I feel like both things can be true. I feel like she let the game get to her. She was a nominee. I think she overplayed. I think she realized maybe I didn't quite hear what Jessica said. I said that she said panda, but I don't know for sure. Obviously, she doesn't know for sure because that's not what Jessica said. And then she made her own inference that, hey, don't you think that's a little racist when... I think that's even debatable. But she pulled that out of thin air, calling Jessica a racist. So I feel like she has to own parts of this.
Right. So here's what I think. And, there's a lot of gray area here with all of it. That it seems like she came in, she was playing a big game. She was playing very hard from the get-go. And we've definitely seen this with, whether it's a Willie Hance or a Devin, where it's like, you come in and you're playing hard and then it comes crashing down. There is, it's a tense situation, and there is a whole rush of emotions, especially when you find yourself on the block. Now, I don't believe she heard Pow Pow and tried to frame it as Panda. I believe that she thought she heard Panda and said, Panda, that doesn't make any sense. Is that because pandas come from Asia? And are we saying that is she calling her that because Alex is Asian? Is that what she's doing? Because that sounds racist, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run with that. So
that was her decision to do that.
Right. But in terms of her hearing that and then being called out by everybody that, nope, did anybody hear her say that? She's like, well, I heard her say that. Again, it's a little bit like the plot of a Three's Company episode where it's like a misunderstanding of like, oh, Chrissy has a bun in the oven. Oh, wait, Chrissy's pregnant. No, that's not what we're saying. But it's where now I sound like Kevin.
So such a deep pull.
For her, it was just like, oh wait, hold on. Now everybody's calling me crazy. Also a crazy liar, and I'm on the block. And I'm sure that was all really stressful in terms of everything that she was dealing with there, Brent.
Well, I don't doubt that it's stressful. Robin's Big Brother, you know? Every season, Julie says, welcome to Big Brother. I mean, this is what the show's about. You're going to be placed in a house full of nutcakes, and you're going to have to work your way around them to get to the end of the game. Obviously, she had a vision of how she wanted the game to be. In the beginning, she was fine. She was making alliances, making deals with people. She had her group. She was set, okay? And then somebody who she doesn't have a great relationship with, in Cody, wins HOH. And by the way, she said that Cody yelled at her. I'm sorry, Cody doesn't yell at anybody.
See, this is where it's tough, and this is the other gray area, because you guys are usually so on the ball with this. We don't have live feeds from that first week, so now we're
what
going.
I'm saying is, from what was presented to me on CBS, and she was referring to this. He did not yell at her. He just said, "I don't like you." You know, I mean, he didn't raise his voice to her. He said, "Look, I'm nominating you because I don't like you. That's the reason why we don't get along. I don't like you." And I just feel like that. I feel like she extrapolated some things that weren't there with the way Cody was treating her, and also with what Jessica said, and she got called on it. And I can't read her mind. I don't know if it's game related. I know that Allison Grodner, before the feats came on, said that Megan was playing a very big game and she worried about her. So maybe that was a little bit of foreshadowing on Allison's part. But I just feel like that there's a lot of there's more here than meets the eye. That's what I'll say. But on the other hand, I wish her all the best. Good luck, girl. Bye. See you later.
Certainly. I mean, I don't want to spend the whole night talking about this because, she's gone. She's not coming back. And
we have a great season.
Yeah, we got a lot of exciting stuff to talk about. Taran, any other thoughts on Megan in terms of her leaving the game in this fashion?
Yeah, I mean, just in general, I mean, I disagree with how she handled the Pow Pow Panda situation. Obviously,
I'd like to talk about that separately. We'll talk about that next.
Okay, cool. And as far as the quitting, obviously she wasn't pulled from the game. She said it was a mutual decision between her and the producers, which obviously I think that implies that she had to have consented to leaving the game at the very least. But that said, there's just not enough information for me to make any sort of like real, value judgments or anything like that. If obviously I don't doubt the veracity of the fact that she has PTSD. And if so, I'm not going to say that, this could have triggered her, this couldn't have triggered her. I think it's an unfortunate situation. I'm still just going to think of it as a quit, and I'm going to move on from there because I don't think there's anything else worth, bringing up or anything like that.
Yeah. We wish Megan nothing but the best. And we got, we had 17 people in the house. We lost Cameron. We still have a lot of people left to go. And certainly a exciting week is now going on with all of these replacement nominations that have to come up. All right. So in terms of the Pow Pow Panda thing, though, I do think that where this also got out of control was the idea of calling Alex Pow Pow, which Megan misheard as Panda. And I think where we ended up in this misunderstanding is because it got presented to Alex as a racist remark, but then in sort of clearing the air about it, I feel like that Jessica, if she would have just said to her, no, I didn't say panda. I was saying pow pow, not panda. I think that she was a little afraid that was going to be taken. Well, why am I pow pow? Because she's another Asian castmate. And so once she was already presented as making a racist comment, I think that Jessica felt like, well, that this is not going to be any better. Say, no, not panda, pow pow.
It's very possible. I think at the very least she was not wanting to admit that she called Alex Pow Pow in the sense that she was doing it to insult her. She has continued to use that nickname. So if she is afraid of it being perceived as racist, she doesn't care. So that tells me maybe she isn't afraid of that. However, I do think 100% this would have been a lot cleaner if she had just said, no, I said Pow Pow, not panda. I think that would have helped everyone understand a little bit better of like what actually happened there.
Yeah, right. It seems like that this would have all been cleared up if she would have just come clean with the pow pow.
Yeah, possibly.
Al Toro.
It's very hard for me to read people's intentions here. You know, I think a lot of fans were even guilty of comparing Alex and Pow Pow. Pow Pow went on, I think, FaceTime and released a short video saying, "Hey, stop comparing me to Alex." But then the show goes and does it.
No, the show did it. The show did not do Pow Pow any favors.
Oh, no, they did not. They hung her out to dry, too. There's
Yeah.
Paul in the diary room saying she looks suspiciously like Pow Pow from 3 years ago. And I'm sorry, they do look very much alike and they act very much alike. They both have those terrible blonde streaks in their hair that I really wish they would get rid of. But beyond that, I feel like their personalities and their game match up very similarly.
But here's the thing, and I probably have been guilty of this in the past, where we have a very limited pool of people that we are presented with in the reality TV world. And it's been long talked about how that there is not enough diversity casting on these shows, and we do it. I'm gonna put this on myself because I'm not gonna make accusations to other people. Often we see somebody and we say, "Oh, okay, this is the new this person that has the same background as them." And it's a bad idea. We probably should not be doing that. And I think that that's a case here. And I think that if there's one thing to learn from all of this, it's we need to stop saying, okay, this person is the new person because they have the same background.
I would say that I agree with parts of that. However, I don't know how many times in my timeline that I've heard other people refer to Cody as the new Monty. They're both, idiots from Texas.
Yes, with these casting pools, and part of it is because that CBS will try to, okay, they're consciously looking for, okay, this is the new version of this archetype. This is the new nerd. This is the new nerd. But we should, can't make the assumptions based on race or skin color that this person is going to be the same as the previous person who shared the same background. And this is, I think, what Jess is throwing out there
I agree with that. On the other hand, for people who say that we're comparing their races, I would reject that and just say, look, just look at the way they act and the way they talk and the way their games are. They're very similar. I mean, like, oh my God, I understand why she's doing that. On the other hand, I wish she wouldn't keep doing that. And I will call Jessica out because on the feeds, this is not a spoiler, but she has been calling Dominique Devon. And I feel like that is like combined with the Pow thing.
Don't do that.
Exactly. I feel like that's a little dicey there. So don't do that.
Yeah. Okay. So just a good guideline for everybody in podcasting, on Twitter, and in the house. So let's try to call people by their actual names and not assume that they're going to be the same person who is maybe the same background.
And let me say really quickly, like I hated Pow Pow on her season. I love Alex on this season. So that doesn't mean that my perception of them isn't different. It's just that I feel like their games and the way they talk is similar.
Okay, well, let's try to have some fun with the rest of this show because there was certainly some interesting things going on in the house. We got on the show tonight, first, a lot of setup of a very showmantic season. Taran, we've been talking about on the live feed shows, 3 different couples left in the house.
Yes, this is a very sexually charged house.
Yeah.
Even the non-couples are very touchy-feely. They're constantly talking about sex. There's lots of when I say touchy-feely, I mean very touchy-feely. You can find some gifs online if you want.
Whoa.
It's weird because this is a bit of an older cast, so you wouldn't have necessarily expected it from them. But maybe that's maybe there's something to that. Maybe because they're a little bit older, they feel a little bit more free to be thirsty, so to speak.
Yeah. Are you here for the thirsty house?
I am to an extent. And when the feeds came on, it was so funny because there was Cody and Jessica who I'd called. I mean, I knew that this was going to happen because she had said something on the live on the edited show about Cody, and he obviously had talked about her like as she's the hottest woman he's ever seen in his life. And of course, they're in a showmance together. Totally predictable. The one that is most fascinating to me is the Mark and Elena showmance because I'm still not. Yeah, I know, right? I don't know exactly where that's going to go. I mean, they obviously have some chemistry together, but they seem to be cool with flirting with other people, as do Raven and Matt. Matt, by the way, Alex, your friend Matt, is such a horn dog. I mean, like, he is talking to every girl
that
in the
was
house.
the word on the street. I believe that. Yeah,
it's just amazing to me. And there's Raven in the room with him, and he's hitting on Christmas. He's hitting on another girl. I mean, like, he's like, and it keeps going. He has these jokes like, you might be sitting there with no pants on because you might be wearing a dress or something like that. He says stuff like,
how's that a joke?
Well, because there's more to the story, but I don't want to spoil it because we're in non-spoiler territory right now. But
spoil the joke? We have to wait to get the spoilers to get the punchline?
He was hitting on somebody who might eventually end up on the block, and that person obviously on eviction night is going to end up in a dress. Yes.
All right. Well.
Yeah. All right, there you go. Anyway, so my point is that he's a horn dog. That's all you need to know about Matt. And there's obviously been different times on the feeds where 3, 4, 5 people have been like sort of like laying on top of each other and grinding a little bit. It's a very sexually charged house.
Can I also just call Brent out for being a horn dog? Because I'm pretty sure like at least 80% of his tweets have just been like total horn dog tweets. Like every time I see Brent tweeting about Big Brother 19, it's like, oh my God, am I gonna get to see something from Mark? Like,
we're talking about Mark specifically, and I don't even care about Mark. Like, I don't even like Mark. I just want to know more about the Pink Monster.
Okay, so that's the guilty as charged.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. I'll own that.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the Have Not Room, which debuted tonight, and we got our Have Not slop given out. Now, Taran, we saw tonight all the house guests reacting to the slop. Oh my God. But Big Brother put out a video like 2 weeks ago talking about the ingredients to slop, and it seemed completely innocuous to the point where I said, I would eat this normally. You got like, it's oatmeal with protein powder. This seems like the perfect meal replacement. Why are the house guests complaining so much? Are they just playing this up for the diary room?
Well, you heard Ramsey. It's not just oatmeal. It's like some sort of paste with birdseed. Didn't you? Obviously Ramsey's knows the recipe. So
paste
I don't know.
Bird seed. That was not in the YouTube video.
I cannot wait for you to try slop.
I'll try it. I'll love it. Now again,
they presented it to them so badly. They have like caked on around the edges, and then of course you were getting the sound of the flies buzzing around it like it's a cow patty or something. So they try to put the worst possible spin on it.
Okay, so we also got the presentation of the Have Not Room with these spiky beds that the players have to sleep on. Okay, and then we are these people really sleeping on these, Taran?
Well, it's very difficult. These are like I feel like we say this every time, but these are really some of the worst beds I think that they have not have had in a while. And another thing I wanted to quickly point out is that Cody, despite being HOH, is voluntarily eating slop, which I believe is the first instance we've ever had of this where he wants to just eat slop the entire time.
Because he wants to keep his body attuned to it. That was his reason.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I know, right?
He's an interesting guy, Cody. I'll give them credit for finding him. We'll get into more on him. But
by the way, the beds are like. I'm not trying to. I'm just pointing out that the beds, they're basically like foam spikes. I mean, like they are spikes, but they kind of like smush down when you lay on top of them.
Yeah,
so
they're not impaling you.
It's not terrible. Yeah.
Could you put a blanket on them?
Yes, like I'm sure they're already doing that. Like it's fine. Yes.
All right. We have a twist in the Have Not Room this season that I said, okay, here we go. This is something.
Right.
And we have the temptation of the Have Nots, and one person a week, Brent, will get the opportunity to get a key and potentially not be a Have Not or be a Have Not for another week.
So I didn't understand this. So like, let's assume for the sake of argument that he picked the extension. Does that mean that somebody else could quickly go and grab the other key and grab the other one? Like, I mean, is there a do-over, or I guess it's just Paul that gets to do this?
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's only one attempt as far as I'm aware.
I mean, this just Taran. I wasn't impressed by this.
No, who cares if somebody's
exactly.
oh, like I got the key, now I'm have none for 2 weeks. What? Like I mean, what incentive is there for somebody to not try this? And then it's like okay, it's my get out of jail free card. Let me roll the dice. It only affects me. It should be somebody could go to do it and they get it for free, but everybody else who's a have-not has to be a have-not for 2 weeks.
Yes, that would be great. Thank you, Rob. You should run the show. That is perfect. Exactly.
Because if it's just my consequences, who cares if I'm an idiot gambler that's going to go out every week and take my life into my own hands?
It's literally like, hey, here's something exciting. Watch somebody flip a coin, and then either way, it still doesn't affect you.
Yeah.
Like, we don't care if Paul is a have-not or not. It doesn't affect the show at all.
Who cares? Nobody cares. So I thought that it was a good idea, but then poor execution in terms of what they were going to do with it. Okay, so we end up with a lot of the house guests reacting to there being Megan gone from the game. And, it seems like that they really let the house guests wonder what's going on for a long time. We've seen this a number of times before. The house guests wonder, boy, this person's been gone for a long time. We even saw Kevin starting to be the concerned father that we did not see Megan for a long time.
You know, when my daughters are out and I haven't seen them, I make them text me or I'll text them, send them a few mojos.
Kevin is out there sending mojos, Taran.
I wonder what mojos he sends his daughters when he's concerned that they might be missing.
Yeah, what's the best mojo to send, Brent?
Question mark?
Question mark?
I don't know. I don't know. I will say that I feel like this was also a little bit overdone because Christmas and I want to say it was Raven when the feeds came on said that Megan walked into the diary room at 10 a.m. Big Brother time and was gone by 1 p.m., which is record time for a quit in 3 hours. So I feel like they were laying it on a little thick with the, it's been a long time. You know, is she still in the diary room? I could have done without that.
Yeah, Audrey was in the diary room for what, like 8 hours? Like,
yeah, that was real. Yeah,
but she was on the ropes. That they were like, come on, stay.
Yes.
So they got her. Megan just wanted out. Can we
just give props to somebody like Audrey? Like, her game was finished. She knew she was finito. She was in the diary room for 8 hours, and she still stuck it out and went out gracefully on eviction night. So kudos to her.
Sure. Thumbs up mojo for Audrey. There you go. But poor Jillian realizes that, okay, I was campaigning against Megan this whole week. And then she finds out that actually we're going to have a new replacement nomination to go up against Jillian. And Taran, she is not loving life.
Yeah, and you know what? I kind of agree with her here. I feel like when there's somebody that's on the block that quits, that should be it for the week. You got somebody that you put up on the block. They went home. It's time for a new HOH. It's time for some new targets. It is unfair to the person that is already on the block. I mean, it's unfair for a lot of different reasons. And I just feel like, maybe it messes with your schedule, but I don't know. Like, this just doesn't seem right to me.
Yeah, the show is very loosey. The show is very loosey-goosey with this because sometimes it's like, well, if the person who was not nominated, if they go home, then we were going to get a new HOH. But for some reason this time we didn't. Megan was the clear and present target. She went home. Cody's HOH should be done, but instead he gets to name another replacement nominee, and I feel like that Jillian really got the short end of the stick here.
You know, we have so much time between this episode and the eviction. They could have just had a new HOH named and then put 2 new people up on the block.
Yeah, and I mean, they said preseason, like, we have so many contingency plans for these temptations, whether they work out, whether they don't work out. We've got plans for everything. So there's probably some extra competition you have to throw in there, right? Like I mean, there was a competition for the 3 nominees, you know, for the night 1 eviction. Turn that into an HOH comp or something.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, we have so many competitions. We have so many things to do. And tonight we got to see the debut of the Den of Temptation.
Jessica, you may now enter the den.
Jessica. I don't like that. I'm going to throw up.
All right.
So dumb.
Thumbs up or thumbs down mojo for the Den of Temptation, Brent?
A thumbs up. Like, this is the best twist they've ever done. I mean, at least they're having fun with it. They're putting, like, the art direction is really fun. I liked the whole bottles thing where he had to pick a poison bottle and there were numbers that he couldn't see. And at least they explained that to us, so I knew what was going on. Like, I mean, Taran, I know we don't love twists, but if they're going to do a twist, at least they put a little bit of money into the art direction, okay?
I like the art direction. I mean, they could have used a better voice actor, but
how dare you?
Here's the things I don't like about it. I don't like watching 15 people walk into a room to read a card. That did not need to be that long at all. And now we're gonna get another one for the curse. Like, where are we gonna see again 15 people walk into a room? That's way too much. And then also, the thing that I don't get is the whole point of the temptation is that you get something good and you also get something bad. How is somebody else being in danger for you being safe, something bad for you, other than the fact that, like, oh, people are going to be mad that you put them in danger? But if the temptation is released every single week, then somebody's going to take it every single week, and it's just going to be known that people just take the temptation and somebody gets hurt for it. It's not a punishment. That's not a temptation. It's just a gift. It's just a different way of getting
like the opposite of the thing with the have-not room, where it's like, okay, Paul takes the temptation and there needs to be a downside. And Pandora's Box used to do this very, very well, where it's like, okay, if I take the money, then the house is going to, bees are going to get unleashed into the backyard and try to sting everybody. I don't think that was an actual temptation, but that's the idea. Bad things happen to everybody else if I take this thing that could potentially be good for me. So when Paul takes the temptation, the downside for him is, oh, I hope nobody finds out about this because everybody will be mad at me. Then to have, okay, pick a random number and one person is going to be cursed randomly. It's almost like if Paul gets busted for this, he could say, bro, I just picked a random number. It was totally, it could have been anybody, no harm, no foul. Like, it should be where then either that Paul has to pick who, like, something terrible happens to, and then that could potentially come back and bite your boy in the butt, or something bad should happen to everybody, and that could ultimately come back and bite your boy in the butt, Brent.
Yeah, obviously, but that's not the point. I mean, you guys are both misreading this. They want the temptation to be taken, no questions asked. So they're going to make it as easy as possible for him to take it and put the pendant around his neck so that their boy is safe for 3 weeks, which they knew was going to happen. I mean, you cannot tell me that they didn't know that Paul was going to win a vote amongst 16 other flipping people in the house when we don't even know half their names, for heaven's sake.
But that's a separate issue.
I know. But again, they want the temptations taken. I get where you guys are coming from on this, but you're just spitting in the ocean at this point. Like, they're not going to do it that way.
I mean, I don't think I've misread. I think I get the point. I just think I think it would be more interesting if they did it a more interesting way.
Right. And if you want to make it a den of temptation and you want that to be an exciting twist, like, there needs to be some, like, oh, this is tempting, but otherwise it's the den of rewards, Brent.
Yeah, Rob, they should call it the den of we need something to put on Sunday night. I mean, that's what it is. It's not like they don't care about calling it what it's supposed to be. They just need something to have on Sunday nights for the first 5 weeks of the show. And this is what they came up with. So, yeah, there you go.
I mean, they did Pandora's Box on this show. Why wouldn't they want there to be a decision? I mean, it's not any shorter if Paul does. Like, I get that you're saying that they want Paul to be safe, but if next week the next person who gets it, what do they care if the person takes it or doesn't take it?
I hear what you're saying. On the other hand, I do feel like they want these twists released into the game for a reason. They want the drama of, potentially Paul being nominated by somebody and then say, haha, you can't nominate me, or any of the other twists that we talked about being released into the house. They just want to make sure that they get it released into the house, that they happen. They want the drama of it. And I don't think they really think about the rest of it, but they should.
And I think there's just as much drama if there's a legitimate downside to this and Paul decides, you know what, I shouldn't take this. And then he does get nominated and you can be like, wow, what a dumb decision by Paul not taking that temptation. Like, I don't think they need every single one to be taken. I think that's when it starts to get rote and just like tiresome, where it's just like, all right, what's the next care package? It's the same thing.
Right.
Okay. So there was a lot of speculation. Who was the person that got the temptation? Cody was pointing the finger at Josh because he was smiling so much. I think it was Jillian who suggested that Kevin had won the temptation, and he shot that down quick.
I'm telling you, 2 people know I didn't get it. Me and the person who got it.
That's right.
It's such a mob boss thing to say.
But even better was when Kevin first found out that there would be a chance for temptation. Here's what he had to say about that.
Jessica, you may now enter.
Sorry, that's the wrong one. From the wrong clip.
Jessica.
Yeah, here it is.
I already won 1 temptation. I'm hoping I don't win another temptation. You don't want to get too many things going your way at the beginning, so I don't want to have 2 temptations. I'll be like David Ruffin. It's on the Temptations, the group The Temptations. You don't get it?
I don't want to be like David Ruffin.
Yeah, I had to rewind it. I was like, what did he say? David? Okay, David. Oh, yeah, the Temptation. Okay, yeah, I'm with you now. Yeah, that was a deep pull, even deeper than Three's Company.
Yeah, I rewound it too, and I was like, oh yeah, I still don't get it.
I'll be like David Ruffin.
Yeah, don't be like David Ruffin. That's one.
We're gonna have a lot of fun with Kevin.
Kevin is amazing, and it was also great when Whistle Nut was in the backyard talking to him about the sexual tension in the house. And again, the best Kevin is incredulous Kevin, where something is happening and they explain it to him, and he's like, "Wait a second, what do you mean? What do you mean that there's going to be have-nots in the house? You mean there's going to be some people that they're not going to get stuff? Are you effing kidding me?" He's like, it's the best.
Yes, it's great. When he was talking about they're really gonna have some fun in the house here
on the weight bench.
On the weight bench?
Talking about?
What? Now get out of here!
Get out of here!
I feel like his daughters have honed this skill from because they had him do these K-pop videos where like the entire point is just him reacting to K-pop, like this new generation stuff, and so he's very good at it now.
No, that's impossible. None of these people are even married.
Yeah, why don't they give me a hug? Why can't I go over there?
What? I'm here. Yeah, he's fantastic, Kevin. So looking forward to more from him. So Paul's looking pretty good with the pendant of protection, and then he's very happy to be pointing the finger at Josh. Ultimately, we see Cody needs to put another person on the block. He has a long chat with Alex. Brent, are you loving Alex? Really? Not. I mean, I was gonna say kowtowing to Cody. That sounds so much like
the id part of my brain loves it. Like the part of me that watches this for the drama. I love her basically saying "f off." I like she's not giving him anything. The brain part of me, like the cerebellum, I think that's what it'd be, Robot Taran. Yes. I'm just incredulous at her. Like, he's trying, girl. Like, throw him a bone. Get yourself off the block. Like, he wants to work with you. He obviously respects you. Obviously, it's coming from the fact that she said she was a libertarian. He's a libertarian. He wants the government out of his life. And so when she said that, he immediately took a liking to her, combined with the fact on the first night when they were competing, she basically said F off again when she told him he can eat, poop, and he can just she refused to make a deal. She's a warrior. From his point of view, she's a warrior. He wants to work with her. The incredulous thing to me is that his entire alliance wants her up on the block, and he's trying to find a way to prevent that. Ultimately, he's unsuccessful because she wouldn't throw him the bone that he needed, and that's why she ended up nominated.
Well, apparently they did make some sort of deal by the end, and that's that was part of the part where he respected, he thought that there was some trust there because they did ultimately make a deal, just didn't make the edit.
Well, what was the deal then? Because I mean, she told him to his face, it ain't gonna go very far. We're not doing much of anything together. And then she ended up on the block, and he said he couldn't do anything with her. So, I mean, obviously there was something lost in translation from. I agree with. I know what we're talking about on the feed. She said she got screwed over. I thought she was talking about Megan. That Megan screwed her over, and that's why she ended up on the block.
He does seem to like her, though.
Yes.
In
Oh, yeah.
He
fairness,
does.
it seems like that he does have some respect for her, and there's other people that, and I don't know how much he was pressured by Jessica to ultimately put her up on the block. But it is funny just to watch her. This is the second time now where he's saying like, "Hey, come on, give me something. Let's work together." And she's like, "No, screw you, and I want to get you out of the house."
Yeah, well, it's just it makes no sense. It's not like you're like, oh yeah, go ahead, do it. Or you have no power this week. Like you can't retaliate right away. Like there's no reason you can't just say, okay, sure, I'll flip over, and then go to the diary room and say, what an idiot, what a moron. I'm coming for him next week.
Right.
Like that's how you play Big Brother. You don't say to his face, no, I'm coming for you.
And it'd be one thing to say this at the nomination ceremony, where to like pull the Godfrey move of, hey, now I'm coming for you. You just made a big mistake. But don't throw that out there at the point where, hey, I'm thinking of putting you on the block. Tell me anything so I can avoid doing this. Like, oh yeah, you're thinking about it? Well, screw you, buddy.
Yeah, I was incredulous. I was like, come on, girl. Like, I mean, I want to root for her so bad because she's won me over and I loved her on the first night of feeds. And even after that, I really love her. But gosh, like just play the game a little bit smarter, okay? Gosh.
Yeah. She's very fun, though. Very
her
fun.
and Josh both.
Yeah. All right. Scott, I want to take a few questions here before we end up getting into the spoilers. So let's start to take what we have so far, and then we'll get into everything from the live feeds. Brent, was there anything else from the episode tonight that you want to touch on?
No, I think we pretty much covered everything. There's so many things that have been happening after the episode that I was more interested in that.
Okay, Taran, anything else from the episode?
No, we're good. I mean, we can talk about the ring of replacement if we want. This new temptation.
Yeah. What does the ring of replacement do?
The ring of replacement allows you to replace one person in a veto competition. That person has to be somebody that was picked of the three that is not HOH or nominated. So somebody that was drawn from the bag or the box or whatever they draw those from. You can replace them in the veto competition.
I think it's kind of a nothing burger for me, but who do we think America is going to give it to?
I think it's pretty safe that Christmas is probably going to win this one, just because of the fact that she was second most popular behind Paul. I mean, if you didn't want Paul to
Where
win,
are
you
you
were
basing that from?
From what I saw on Twitter and from Jokers and a few other polls. I mean, Christmas was like 17%, Paul was at 30%, everybody else was like single digits. So I think the fact that she has a bit of a following combined with her interesting name would probably put her in the driver's seat for the second temptation.
She was pretty invisible in this She was pretty invisible in this episode, though. That's the only thing where like voting starts now, and then if it ends like Thursday, she really need to have like a strong showing at some point. I feel like who are the big characters from this episode? Yeah, exactly. I feel like Kevin is much more likely at this point.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, that'd be really thrilling.
Maybe America will send a few mojos his way.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's get into some of these questions that Scott has pulled. Krim wants to say to us, why on earth would Alex tell Cody that she would go after his group if she won a HOH? It's a good question.
Because she's an idiot, but she's our idiot, and I love her.
Yeah.
You're idiot.
Yeah.
Okay. John,
yes.
Is Cody the worst house guest to make speeches of all time? Do we have any issues with the speech that he did this time around, Brent?
I kind of forget what he said. What did he say
I don't
to
think
her?
it was that bad.
Yeah, no, he's fine. Cody's actually pretty inoffensive, and he's pretty honest. Like, he's like, hey, I don't like you. And then he said to Jillian, like, you're connected to the person I don't like. And then to Alex, hey, you might come after my group, and you're a competitor. So, I mean, come on, this is like nothing. Come on, what are you guys upset about?
I just thought of perhaps one of the worst nomination speeches ever, and I realized that Cody really would have hated it because it ends with "Victims, aren't we all?"
Okay. Let's go from Zaul, who says, Kevin loves making up words and changing their meaning. What's your favorite Kevinism? Boy, that's like we're back into the leftovers. Taran, do you have a favorite Kevinism that you've heard?
I mean, Mojo's was pretty good.
Mojo is pretty good.
Yeah, that's the only one I can remember at the moment. But he's all over the feeds with them. He's just, he says stuff. I'm trying to think of some stuff. I know there's somebody who tweets hashtag things Kevin says, and I can't even. I've retweeted at least 5 of them, and I can't even remember them right now.
Yeah, it's pretty good. All right. Dominic wants to ask, does anyone know if Jason is contractually obligated to always be wearing his cowboy hat? I think that might be not so much a contract thing, but I think it's kind of the same reason that Enzo always wore a hat, Brent.
Yeah, he's losing his hair. Come on.
Yeah. I think that's probably the case.
Use your brains, people.
Okay. Yoni says, does Cody have a chance to even get to jury? Seems like trying to make deals with everybody will backfire sooner than he thinks. I'm sure we'll talk about Cody plenty more on the live feeds. But right now, Taran, you in or out on Cody making the jury?
I'm out. He is the terrible combination of like crazy comp threat plus erratic, like just like unemotional, like ridiculous gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
I am in on him making the jury, mainly because I feel like there's an element to him that has this like awkward earnestness about him that I feel like people will be able to identify once they and love once they sort of like get to know that this is the way Cody interacts. Same thing with what I said about Josh. Like, I feel like Josh is a bit of a basket case, but, you know, once you get to know him and he calms down, I feel like he's our Josh. You know, he's our clown. We understand the way he works. So if Cody can sort of slide into that role, like where people get him, I feel like he'll be okay.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. I would say right now I'd pencil him in because we usually see this type of player who is like really going very hard at the game is also combined with a very erratic and emotional personality. I can't think of the person who has sort of been playing hard and then also attached to this sort of like very stoic personality. And I feel like that in some ways, much like when we talked about back in Big Brother 2, where, you know, Dr. Will would sit on the block next to Shannon or a Mike Boogie, you know, the person who he's up against on the block, if he's ever nominated with Jessica, I feel like that she might go home because she might be the person who's really just telling everybody off the whole week.
Yeah, she does have a bit of a temper, and she doesn't always watch what she says to people. And there are a lot of people in the house that probably don't trust her. And I mean, at least Cody, I feel like if Cody gives you his word, I feel like he will be true to that. And I feel like that the way he's a former Marine, or he's a Marine, once a Marine, always a Marine. I feel like that people will be able to take his word to the bank. So I feel pretty good about it.
And also, you feel like that even if he was working against you and he's sitting there on the block, that he might be able to sell you on like, look, it's nothing personal. And even though he did tell Megan he doesn't like her very much, that I feel like that you might feel like that you could work with him and not that he hates you.
Yeah, exactly. It was so funny though. Everything I'm saying about Cody, I feel like there's a couple of yeah buts in there. Like it's like, yeah, there's this, but yeah, but, and then there's this, but yeah, but. Like, I mean, I feel like 90% of Cody is trustworthy, but there's like 10% of him that I feel like could screw you at any time.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
And then finally, Joe wants to know, why did Big Brother stop the have not competitions? They could easily have left that as the Sunday night competition because they're boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. Okay. All right. That's why. With all due respect to, they would have like some wacky ones where people would be like dressed as cows and you're like jumping on people's udders. So you know, if you were looking for something that was like completely ridiculous, yeah, you got that. But in terms of like the game, it was tough to get you interested. Okay, so let's go ahead and start to shift gears and get into the spoilers. If you're just joining us for Big Brother 19. What we do here at this part of the show is we are going to get into everything from the live feed spoilers. So you will see me get this buzzer out. This buzzer means it is no longer safe for you to be listening. You will also hear a spoiler song warning, which means that everything after this will be events that have transpired on the live feeds that you will see in future or not see in future episodes of the Big Brother telecast. We will be back with our next post episode recap coming up on Wednesday night after that show, and then again on Thursday after the eviction. And so farewell to you not so brave souls only watching the TV show, and for the rest of you guys, you're in for a treat. Here come the spoilers.
The Office of Civil Defense has issued the following message. This is
a spoiler.
Warning.
A spoiler.
Warning means that an actual
spoiler
against this country has been detected and that protective action should be taken.
All right. This is not a drill, people. We're ready to go talking about the spoilers.
Woo!
Okay? So it's all happening. All right. So Taran has been updating us all weekend long with everything from the spoilers. So let's just go through the headlines to catch people up who have not been following the weekend of updates. Brent, what are some of the biggest headlines right now?
The biggest headline I feel like right now is that Alex won the power of veto against all odds and saved herself when she was probably going home. So that was pretty amazing and good for her.
All right. So Alex coming down off the block, and we need a renom.
Yes, a fourth person he needs to name as a replacement nominee. Yes.
And Brent, who might that renomination be?
Well, none of us knew for a long time, because if you've been following Cody on the live feeds, Cody would not. He's this amazing player where he would not tell anybody what he was thinking. I don't even think he told the diary room what he was thinking. He said everybody kept asking him, are you going to nominate Jason? Everyone, his alliance wanted him to nominate Whistlenut, Jason, because they feel like that's the person who's closest to Alex. We want to get him out. He's a physical threat and he's likable. Let's get him up. Okay. But Cody's the HOH, and Cody's like, look, I got this. You guys, you're going to have to trust me. And of course, Cody's so intense that nobody really pushed him too hard. They were all like, okay, man, we trust you. We get it. You're our leader. We're following you. It's like, I think Kristen McGannis said that Cody's not playing Big Brother. He thinks he's in a war zone. And he doesn't want to he doesn't want the enemy to find out anything. So he has a plan, and it eventually became clear after some of the conversations he had that by process of elimination through the deals he made with various other people, Ramses, Jason, Alex, that only Paul and Christmas were available for him to nominate. And it eventually became clear that after he had a conversation with Jessica last night, that he wanted to really go after Paul, because Paul, in his eyes, is the one who is sowing the seeds of distrust in his alliance, and he's gaming too hard.
Pissed!
Right? However, as you might know from the episode, Paul has the pendant of protection, and so he cannot be nominated for eviction. And the veto ceremony happened earlier today, and Taran, why don't you take it from there?
Right, and the veto ceremony we didn't get to see, but how did it ultimately play out, Taran?
Well, Cody made his fourth nomination. He put up Paul, you are the poison. And then Paul pulled out the pendant of protection. And then Cody had to make his fifth nomination, which
on the spot. Yes.
Which, with Megan gone, with 15 people in the house, is a third of the entire house. He's made 5 nominations. And this fifth person, who is the backup to the backup to the backup to the backup target, is Christmas.
Okay, Christmas. My winner pick. Oh no. For the record, if she goes out this week, it really shouldn't count that it was really after the 5th nomination.
Right.
I mean, I think that's with an asterisk.
By the way, this is the person I was making a joke about earlier. Matt kept joking with Christmas. He's so hot for Christmas, my God. And he's like, well, you're not going to be wearing pants on eviction night. You're going to have to sit there on the block in a nice dress, and we might keep you, we might not. So he's always joking like sexual jokes like that.
What's the joke?
Defensive.
Like, hey, wear a nice dress or
he's a freaking horn dog, Rob. He just hits on everybody.
I'm just trying to, but I'm just trying to find where the humor is.
Okay, maybe it's not a joke. Like, it's just a really bad hit on.
Only fellow horn dogs can understand the horn dog joke.
I thought I was there. I guess
you've grown out of it, Rob.
Yeah. Yes. So the feeds came back on right after Christmas was named as the replacement nominee, and bitch was hot. She was hot. So she was mad, and it was very funny to watch. So it was Team Good Feeds today, and I was here for it. Eventually, it came out. First of all, there's a little bit of misunderstanding initially, because when Cody had to name Christmas as the replacement nominee, he said, Christmas, you just got unlucky, or what did he say, Taran? Something to the effect of where it made Paul think that Christmas was the one who was behind betraying him. And of course, that was not true. Paul and Christmas eventually worked it out. But Christmas tried to go to Cody. He wouldn't give her a lot of answers. A lot of their alliance feels blindsided because Elena and Raven and Matt, they all like Christmas, and they're incredulous about it, Taran, because they're like, if Cody had just told us, look, I'm thinking about nominating Paul or Christmas, we would have said, we won't support that. So, of course, Paul is trying to work this out logically. He's like, well, why would he try to put me on the block if he didn't know he had the votes? So Paul doesn't believe any of them. that they say, we didn't know about this. We didn't know he was going to name you as the replacement nominee. And so Paul is really trying to find a way to trust this old alliance of Raven and Matt and Elena when they say, we did not know what was going to happen. Jessica's also saying, I did not know what was going to happen. But of course, Paul's thinking about it like a logical player, but Cody's not a logical player. And Cody did really keep this from everybody. And he did try to throw Paul up on the block, not realizing he didn't probably have the votes to get him out.
Yeah, Taran, can you just talk this through? Because this is one of the things that I was trying to watch as much as I could on the feeds today as well. So was Paul actually going up as a target, or we have no way of knowing because it's Cody's cards are so close to the vest, nobody knows?
Cody 100% wanted Paul gone. He basically wanted Paul gone from the start. He said that the second he didn't get a friendship bracelet from Paul, he never liked him from last season. As we've talked about, he's essentially the polar opposite of Paul. He hates everything that Paul represents. He's never going to trust Paul. And so he thought, this is my chance to make a strike. And he thought, and Paul also thinks, if Paul went on the block, he definitely would have gone home. I'm not sure that's the case. And I'm not sure that it's the case that Christmas is gone either, because there's a lot of room to play here.
Right. The vote is very unsettled at this point. Is it fair to say, Brent?
It is unsettled, but it is more, I would rather be Christmas at this point than I would rather be Jillian, because I feel like Christmas has 5, maybe 6 solid votes, and she needs 7 because there are 12 people voting this week. Obviously, Cody would vote to evict Christmas since he named her. That's his target now. So she's going to need 7 votes in order to stay. And I feel like right now she has 6 votes. She has Paul. Kevin will follow Paul. Elena and Raven and Matt have all said they will not vote to evict Christmas under any circumstance. Josh has privately told Christmas that he will not evict her. And also Jillian played horribly earlier today by yelling at Josh in front of everybody, saying, you know, I've been your friend, and how could you say you're going to vote to evict me, which is true, but she played it badly. So that's 6 votes right there. She really only needs 1 more. The votes that are up for grabs are Mark, Dominique, and Jason Whistlenut to a certain extent. So,
and Dominique has told Christmas that she is 100% on board with Christmas. I think that's happening actually as we speak. It was happening at the beginning of this podcast. Elena has said that she's a little bit on the fence, so I wouldn't completely count Elena in, especially with Mark kind of campaigning against Christmas.
Right.
We talked about on the feeds update, there was Dominique had a talk show the other night, and Christmas asked a question that was really pointed about Mark's relationship with Elena, and Mark was very upset about that. So when Cody...
What was this? Why was he so upset about this?
Yeah, I watched this clip as well, and yeah, the Dominique Has a Podcast was on. And the question that was asked to Mark was by Christmas of, are you in a showmance or a romance with Elena, who happened to come into the room at that point? But while Christmas was just the first one to sort of bring that question up, it seemed like that there were a lot of people asking follow-ups to Mark while he was on the witness stand. And Christmas, I guess, took the brunt of it, Taran.
Yes, well, he was also very mad at Matt, but he has a better relationship with Matt.
And Kevin also was like, oh, hold on, I've got a follow-up question about that. I've got a follow-up question.
You can't be mad at Kevin.
Hold on, I got to ask you something else about her. So what do you think? You guys are going to get married?
I think he had also had a conversation with Christmas about this, and he felt like she had betrayed that in some way. I'm not sure what the conversation was. But the point is, he had a conversation with Dominique where, like, and again, like, Dominique is planting seeds of doubt in his mind, not realizing that like something like this is going to happen, and that's going to like have a chain of events that's going to cause him to vote against Christmas. I do think Dominique still has a lot of control over Mark. So I think she can reel him back in if she needs to, if she really is on Christmas's side. But the point is, Mark does seem to be set against Christmas right now. He supports Cody's decision. He's really the only person in the house that does. And Elena is a little bit on the fence because she doesn't want to turn her back on that side of the house. Jessica hates this. She really loves Paul. She doesn't want this to happen, but she feels stuck with Cody, and she's ultimately going to support what he's doing, even though now she's like, look, I'm going to go downstairs for a second. Can you not do something stupid in the time that I'm gone? She's very, very annoyed about it.
Well, let's just paint the bigger picture of the alliances where we have the showmances, and then sort of like when we pull back a little bit, Taran, we start to get into some of the other people that are along in sort of like that bigger, looser group versus the people that Cody had branded as the outsiders earlier in the season.
Yeah, so basically the basic structure of it is Cody has the showmances, which are, we saw in the episode, plus Dominique. Those are 7. Those are the people. Cody went to Alex and Jason and made a deal with both of them saying, if I keep Jason off the block and put up one of my own numbers, will you keep the showmances plus Dominique safe? Those are the people he wants to keep safe, plus Alex and Jason. He's looking at, who am I going to get to the jury? So that's his group. Then the group as a whole, what everybody but Cody considered to be the group was the showmances plus Dominique plus Paul and Christmas. Cody never saw Paul and Christmas as part of the group. He never saw this as a legitimate alliance. He didn't want things to be solidified. As we talked about, Rob, he didn't want to name this. He didn't want to make it official because that's not who Cody is. And he wanted leeway to be able to say, no, you guys aren't part of it. So they feel like everybody but Cody feels like you betrayed our alliance in order to bring in these 2 outsiders. Very Devin-like.
Yes.
And so that's the basic structure of it. Then we do have the outsiders. We have, Jason, Kevin, Ramses, Josh, Alex, Jillian. Josh is connected, or not Josh, Jason is connected to Alex. He has a relationship with both Paul and Christmas to some extent. Kevin obviously has a very tight relationship with Paul. Paul knows that Kevin took the $25,000. They've been sharing information. Paul's really good with him. So there is a lot of room to play in that outsider group. And now that Cody has made this move to put up Christmas and try to put up Paul, the alliance of 9 or so has been essentially shattered. Matt and Raven are extremely pissed at Cody for this. They are done with him. They are fully on board Paul's side of things. And so there's still a lot of room for where this is going to go at this point.
Well, what they're realizing is that by Cody not sharing with them what his true plans were, it could have easily been one of them. Like, you can't trust this guy. If he won't trust you and give you input and take your input into what you want, then he's not really a reliable alliance member. Matt was saying, if I want HOH, I would want to hear from everybody. Tell me what you guys want me to do. I mean, that's how you play Big Brother. Cody's playing this other game that doesn't even look like Big Brother.
Well, especially that's how you play a week 1 HOH, where the people that have done it the best, you build a consensus in terms of the house of what does the house want to do. And yes, Cody's been painted into this bad position where he's had to put 5 people out there as potential nominees, but you really want to use this as an exercise to build up trust that's going to last you for a while in this game. And it seems like that he is, so secretive about what he wants to do that nobody is feeling like they can trust him.
Right. And he also keeps saying things like, well, you guys don't have to worry because I'll take the target for you. I'll take the bullet. If you guys get into any trouble, I'll just make it so they have to nominate me and I'll be the one who goes home. But that's not, you don't want someone like that in your alliance who's going to fall on his sword for you. And he can't even guarantee that he'd be the one to go up. He can't force them to nominate him. So it's just like he just did a couple crazy things here that people in his own alliance couldn't support. And now I feel like the power structure of the house, which was pretty run-of-the-mill, it was poor, kind of the pretty people against the misfits, now has really been reshuffled, and I really couldn't even tell you what's going to happen. And the weird thing is this, Rob, he had Christmas and Paul. Cody had them. They were pretty loyal to him. They were happy, let's the 9 of us will go to jury. Of course, it's never really going to happen that way, but they were fine with the idea of it. Instead, he traded those 2 people in for Alex and Jason and Ramses, all of whom would betray Cody at the first chance that they get and have said so on the feeds. It's just nuts to me. And in doing so, by not sharing that information with his own alliance, he looks like he's double dealing. And I know what he's trying to do. In his bio, he said, you know what? I want to go to the end with champions and warriors. I want to take out the people in the middle. But he never shared that with anybody. They were just totally blindsided by it.
Taran, tell me about Jillian. I feel like I've watched a fair amount of feeds, certainly not as much as you guys. I don't think I've ever seen her once.
God. Oh my God.
Where is she? What does she do all day?
She is nowhere. She doesn't really talk to anybody other than maybe Josh. Occasionally, she talks to Alex. She'll occasionally talk to Jason. She's really firmly on the outsiders side of things, and she doesn't really socialize with anyone else. She does leak information like crazy.
Yes.
We can reveal, we're in the spoiler section, Ramses is the one that ultimately gets the curse from Paul's temptation choice, and Ramses told Jillian. She is the only person that he confided in, and then Jillian went and told, I think, at least 3 other people
In record time.
Yes, immediately. She's really not doing much. She's really just kind of hanging around. She was annoyed about this whole Cody plan to not put up somebody like Jason, because obviously if Cody just does what everyone wants and puts up Jason, then Jason goes home. There's no fuss. Jillian is safe. But with Cody making this crazy move, now all of a sudden she's in the line of fire yet again, through no fault of her own, except just being somebody that doesn't really play the game. She should be somebody that slides for a while, but these crazy circumstances have put her in very, very hot water.
Yeah,
and
she has really gotten unlucky, but on the other hand, I'm fine with her getting unlucky because she's not giving me anything.
No, she's really boring. And so for Christmas, you feel like that maybe this is a bad spot to be in because Jillian is such a non-entity that people would keep her over Christmas, who's a threat. But you have this idea where if Christmas is going to stay in the house and she's attached to Paul, if it is a move against Cody, Taran, do you think that they would be able to mount enough support to say, hey, no, keep Christmas in the house? She's part of Paul's group that's going to go after Cody.
Well, there's the thing, because, even with Matt and Raven, who are the most angry with Cody, they're still not gunning for Cody. They're willing to sit on the sidelines and be like, we'll root for Paul to win HOH and go after Cody. But Cody's still trying to protect them. So it's not in their best interest to ruin that for themselves.
They need to make peace with Cody.
Exactly. But they're comfortable saying, Cody, you know what? You kind of screwed us here, so we're not going to vote Christmas out, and you're going to be okay with that. But they're also not going to be gunning for Cody. And that's where there's a little bit of trouble for Christmas, because there's not like this movement to go against Cody. Cody has made peace with Alex and Jason to some extent. And as we were speaking, I'm hearing, I'm reading that Jason is talking to Alex saying, we need to make sure Christmas leaves. So it seems as though
it's going to be a close
Shut your mouth, whistle nuts.
Yeah. So this is gonna go back and forth. I think there's a lot of room to play here. Cody's allies don't want to anger him, but at the same time, they're very mad at what he did, and they want to make sure that they're doing what's in their own best interests. This is going to be an interesting week to watch play out, because there's still so much room to play.
I would like to give a little bit of credit to Paul, because, this was crazy town watching the feeds come back on. But, Christmas was yelling at everybody. I think Paul got upset for maybe like a minute and a half, but he played it so well when he had to talk to Cody. He was like, hey man, what happened? Let's go talk about it. He really turned down the temperature. I think while everybody else was at like a 9 or a 10, Paul kept it at about a 3. I think that really shows, the value of being a vet. He didn't totally lose his cool. And I feel like that he gained a little bit of credit in the process.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Paul, because that Paul has been doing a lot of talking to us on the feeds, in addition to a lot of sort of holding court with the other house guests. Taran, when I first watched the friendship talk that Paul had given, I think on Friday, I came away pretty impressed with what he was saying in terms of how he was going to play this game. But as the weekend has progressed, have you seen some other troublesome things from Paul?
As far as his game goes, not really. He's actually doing very well. I would say he was probably one of the best positioned players in the house. I do think that even if he had gone up here without the Pendant of Protection, that it would be even more of a slam dunk that he would have stayed. I think he has even more connections than Christmas does. Even before, Alex and Jason, before the deal was brought to them, they were saying, you know what, Cody might try to make a deal with us and put Paul up. If that's the case, we should probably vote out Jillian instead of Paul. We need Paul. Even they were saying that they need Paul. Everybody thinks they need Paul. Everybody feels like Paul is on their side, a good asset to their game. He is in a very good spot. And Cody is legitimately like the only person who has anything against Paul. And it's really has nothing to do with what Paul
I have to tell you that the best part about this is that Cody went into the diary room and has been complaining to us on the feeds, making victim noises, and in the diary room, that Paul got 3 weeks of safety. Are you kidding me? So the first person to be complaining about victim noises is the person who does it on the first freaking night that the pizza run. Like that was great.
And the thing I will say about Paul in terms of, what are we seeing from him? We did see him talk a lot about last season. He talked about Big Brother 18 way too much. It got very annoying, and it became very clear that he doesn't understand why he lost, in terms of like, he really thinks it was a bitter jury. He would have lost no matter what, even if he had taken James. He just really doesn't understand a lot of why he lost. And that's,
all those nerds on Reddit. He's talking about you, Taran.
Well, I am Reddit. Haven't you heard?
Paul seems like he is very focused, and I was really impressed with a lot of the things I heard from him over the weekend. I do think that that he has two fatal flaws. One of them that you mentioned is sort of like his own ego, and sort of like in a bit like he's like talking himself up too much when he probably should be, talking about what a bad player he is, and he's talking about a lot about what a great player he is. So that's problematic. And I also think that he can be a little sloppy and not necessarily sticking to a plan, and I think that could potentially present problems when you're trying to play that big of a game, Taran. I think that he could end up getting himself caught up at a point.
Taran, I wanted to ask you really quickly, and I'm sorry, go ahead and answer Rob's question. I want to ask you something else. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I definitely agree. I agree with that. I think that I think he has good instincts. I think now he has the knowledge and experience to put those instincts into play. But he's still not perfect, and I think he still has a bit of a personality problem in terms of the arrogance. He's still a bit of a jerk, and he still has a lot of misconceptions about how he played last time. So it'll be interesting to watch. I still think he's a flawed player, but he does have a lot of positive things going for him, including all of these advantages that he has. So I'm excited to watch this play out even more.
I wanted to ask you.
Let me say one quick thing. So what I really think is what would have been really amazing for Paul is if he could have sat out one season. If he could have watched one season and not been in the house and then come back and played. I really feel like that he would have been set up even better to make a potential winning run, whereas he has this thing that we've talked about, like with people like Zeke in Survivor. You play back-to-back seasons, you don't get a chance to process really, okay, I understand this more now, and so it's a thing that he will have to deal with. Yes, Brent.
Taran, I just want to ask you, I know that Cody said to Paul on the feeds that, one of the reasons that he targeted him and that he felt like that they could never work together was because he didn't get a friendship bracelet. But I really thought that was cover. Don't you? Because I feel like the real reason why Cody wanted to nominate Paul is because Paul's more popular than Cody. Paul gets more attention than Cody. Paul is like the bigger personality in the house. Paul is the guy that Cody can't stand because Paul's always cracking jokes and being the life of the party, and Cody just doesn't have time for that. Don't you think it's that the whole friendship bracelet thing is just like the reason he's giving him?
I mean, he's giving him more than just that. I mean, like, I think that played into it in terms of like, I think that, I mean, Cody has said this. He said, I didn't like you on season 18. It's just,
Did he watch?
Never. Yeah, he has. He's a long time.
I know.
Who was he rooting for?
Who knows? Maybe he was rooting for James.
God,
the military stuff. Yeah, I mean, he's essentially saying he never liked him on season 18. He really felt like this guy, he's going to play both sides. He's a liar. He's a manipulator. Right. The personality clash is definitely a thing. And then I think the friendship bracelet he brings up because that's like, and that just capped it off. Like I met you and immediately I didn't get a friendship bracelet. Like that just confirmed everything that I thought about you.
What, Paul? I liked you in Big Brother 18, but now I don't like you.
Thank you, Karen.
It's something I'm seeing people say like thank God for recruits. We'd never see a fan of the game make these moves that Cody's making. Let's not forget, Cody has watched all of the seasons, essentially most of the seasons. He is a fan of the show, and he is just as erratic as Devin, who came in blind.
Okay, let's talk on some of the other people we haven't talked about a lot tonight. Other than her talk show, we really haven't talked much about Dominique. Brent, have you been impressed with her? Because it seems like that she has a pretty good grasp of what's going on in the house and is considered a valuable ally of the showmances.
Yes, it's so funny listening to Cody because he's like, it's the showmances plus Dominique. I'm like, well, what did she do during those first 7 days where we didn't have feeds to get herself into such a great position? But yes, I think that she has been playing probably the best game in the house. However, there are a few other people who think that she's been playing the best game in the house, namely Paul and Christmas. And I feel like a few people are onto her. I feel like she might be a little bit too slick. She's a really good game player, and I don't even know if here's the thing, you can say somebody's a good player. I think a lot of people said that about Steve Moses on his season. Like, I know what he's doing. He's up to something. But you still never really nominated him. You never tried to go after him. I feel like somebody like Dominique is probably going to be in the house for a long time.
Taran, any Dominique thoughts?
Yeah, I'm definitely impressed with Dominique. I think that she has a lot of ability. I agree with Brent in terms of the fact that she is a bit obvious about it. People do see her as like, Dominique's probably playing the best game. She is the person that people point to in terms of that. That doesn't mean a lot because you can think somebody's playing the best game and not be targeting them. You could even be saying, maybe we need to target Dominique soon because she's such a good player. That really still doesn't mean much. Unless it's this week or next week, it's really not going to mean much. So I'm still pretty good, happy with the position she's in. She has some close relationships. I like the fact that she's sticking with Christmas here. I think that's the right move for her. And I'm excited to see where she goes with this. I think that she has a lot of potential. She has some great chess talks with Mark. I think, having that connection with Mark, like if she is able to keep him under control, he is a great pawn for her. So I'm excited. I'm excited for Dominique. I'm hoping that she's able to continue this.
Yeah, he's such a mama's boy. Like, he's going to do what between Dominique and Elena, like whatever they want him to do, he's going to do. I really don't think that Matt or Cody are going to have any say-so in Mark's decisions.
One of the biggest surprises for me over the weekend was after Thursday night's show, I said, okay, when these feeds come on, it's going to be all Josh all the time. And, you mentioned, Taran, that Jillian is talking to him. Well, she might be putting the curse of no cameras on him because Josh is another one. I hardly ever see him on the feeds.
Yeah.
He was all over the feeds night one. He wanted to make sure he got his story out. He wanted to make sure everyone knew I'm a human. I'm not a robot. I've got feelings. And then he's been.
You find that offensive as a robot, Taran?
I find it 100% offensive. He was. I mean, I wished I had somebody to come and tell me about all the racist things he said to robots. It's very offensive. But yeah, he's essentially completely laid low ever since then. He hasn't really had much to say at all. People are still really ostracizing him. They really still want to target him. Although with this new shakeup, I think this is huge for him. If he's able to continue to stay low with all of this craziness happening, he's in a great spot. But yeah, I mean, he's not he hasn't been great on the feeds. I think that he still can be good on the show, but even when he is erratic on the feeds, it's just annoying erratic. It's not fun erratic. He needs to win like an HOH and just like go crazy like Cody did.
I wanted to ask you really quickly. I heard you guys on Thursday night saying, he torched his game because, he went for the golden apple and blew his game up. I have been of the opinion that I feel like a guy like Josh, he needed to get the apple. He needed to have a week of safety. And remember, the first week in Big Brother is like 2 weeks. So 2 whole weeks to sit in that house, feel safe. No, you cannot be nominated. I know the people obviously he handled it horribly, but I feel like his decision to go for it, given his own disposition and knowing he's a little bit of a nut, I feel like it was right for him to go for the.
I don't think I was that down on it for Josh. And I was
talking to the robot.
Yeah. No, I agreed with it. I agree with it still. I think that it was the right move for him 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, because, I mean, with 5 people going up this week, try to tell me Josh wouldn't have been on the block at some point this week.
Oh, God.
He would have been in the initial target.
So,
exactly.
Good for him on that. All right. I just want to do like a little lightning round, and then I'll throw you a name and just give us like a sentence or two on how they're doing, people that we haven't talked a lot about. Brent, Jessica, I know you were high on her in the preseason. Jessica, thoughts?
I'm less high on her, but today I've grown a little bit of respect for her because I feel like she sees what of a nutcase Cody is, and she's trying to look at the game logically, like she hates the fact that Christmas is up on the block, but she's like, look, it's done. Like, let's forget about that. Like, we have to evaluate this logically. Look, if we keep Christmas in the house, she's going to come after Cody and by extension me and our alliance. I know it sucks, but I feel like we have to get rid of her. And I do think that's the right play for Jessica. I do think she probably needs to get Christmas out of the house.
Okay, Taran, tell me about Elena.
Elena's in a pretty decent spot here. She's obviously still protected by the Cody side of things, but she's also with Mark, who's connected to Dominique. She has a good connection with Paul and Christmas. I don't see her going anywhere anytime soon. She doesn't. I don't think she has as solid a grasp on Mark as she thinks she does. Right. I think that she doesn't see the threat in Dominique, and I think if Dominique eventually decides like I need Mark to myself, that could be dangerous for Elena. But I like what she's doing. She's not overly strategic. She's not, playing too hard by any means. But she's also not like totally doing nothing. She's involved in alliances. She's involved in conversations. I don't see her going anywhere anytime soon.
I actually really like her. I think she's very fun. Brent, tell me about Ramses.
Ramsey is somebody else who Taran, how in the hell did he avoid the block? Can we please talk about this? 5 people nominated during the first week, and you're going to tell me that after Cameron was evicted from the house that he never thought, okay, what about this guy Ramses? He looks as a super fan. Look, I'll give Ramsey some credit. He has been playing both sides. He has been dumbing down himself. At first he was saying he was a super fan. Now he's telling the house, oh, I only watched a few seasons. My brother was actually the super fan, so good for him for doing that. But I still do not know. If you're naming 5 people to put on the block, how he avoided being nominated is beyond me. Really quickly, his curse is, Taran, if I have this right, he has to volunteer to go on the block during one of the first 3 weeks. So I guess he would be like as a 3rd nominee. So, because remember the first night they had 3 nominees. So sometime during the first 3 weeks, he has to volunteer to be nominated. Is that what it was, Taran, or did I misunderstand it?
That's correct. He has to put himself up on the block. I believe the first option was this week, so he has 2 more weeks to do it. He has to do it either next week or the week after, and he gets to choose his spot, but he has to go up on the block, which is a pretty terrible thing to just randomly happen to you.
When does he have to do that? Is it at the nomination ceremony?
I do not know.
Will he get a chance to play for veto is what I want to know.
I have to assume it would be an initial nomination.
Okay.
I don't know if it takes the place of one of the HOH's nominations or if it's an additional nomination.
Interesting.
We don't know that yet.
Okay. So hypothetically, if he doesn't do it the first 2 weeks, can he not play HOH the 3rd week?
That's what I was wondering.
HOH and then has to put himself on the block and he'll pick like 2 people that will definitely go home.
Who knows?
I don't know, Rob. I was thinking the same thing, which is, what if he waits?
The den of temptation.
Ramses.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Right. What about Raven?
Raven, wow. Somebody who I've grown to like more than when I first saw her on the feeds. On the first night of feeds, I thought, oh my God, she's just like one of these showman's people. She's hanging all over Matt. But she's got a feisty side to her. She's very emotional. She plays with her heart a little bit too much, which I like in a Big Brother player. Not necessarily making the best moves, but making the moves that make the most fun for me watching on the feeds. I feel like it actually would be in her best interest to get rid of Christmas, but she has she loves Christmas. So why would she get rid of her? I'm like, well, maybe for $500,000 you would, but she won't have any of it. So I don't know about her game prospects, but she's giving me more fun on the feeds. And I do agree with Matt. The way she moves is so quirky. You can obviously tell she's a dancer with the way that she just like balletically moves around the house at different times, just out of nowhere. It's just fun to watch.
And everybody loves her. Everybody loves her so much. We've got Cody and a couple of other people saying, we don't even want to win ourselves. We want Raven to win the money.
Yeah, that'll change real fast. Once
it will change. It will 100% change. But it is a remarkable thing to even hear it at all. She needs the money for the disease that she has.
The medicine is quite costly. By the way, she won a never not pass during the veto competition. Apparently, I'm going to look, unless it was blind luck, I have to assume it was something where the house guest said, okay, let's give her the never not pass because she was happy to get it and she's glad she doesn't have to be a have not.
Okay, we'll see how that plays out when we get to the veto competition coming up. Okay, let's get back into our questions. Angel writes to us, says, is it possible that production just hates Cody so much they let him keep being HOH until he nominated half the house? Let me ask, because that's a bit of a rhetorical question. Do we think production likes or dislikes Cody? Taran?
I think on a personal level, they probably don't like him very much. I think on a production level, where in terms of like making TV for the show, I think they love him. I mean, making this insane move to nominate Paul, have Paul be like he gave them exactly what they wanted in terms of like they didn't want Paul's pendant of protection to go completely unnoticed for 3 weeks. They wanted it to blow up immediately, and it did. And I think he's giving them a lot of great show stuff.
And obviously he handled it terribly, but I will give props to Cody. But my God, we always complain about people that don't have the balls to do something in Big Brother, or they let people know their targets and it gets out and there's no blind sides. This guy held it in a house where you want to tell everybody everything. And he went after some really big game. I mean, we complain about people not getting rid of the vets. He tried to get Paul up on the block and was blocked by this stupid twist. So that was a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, I don't think they think about people in terms of personal feelings. I think they think of people only as good TV or bad TV. He's been good TV so far, so I think that they like him. Love Tour Alex wants to know, do you think that Paul ever watched his own season? How much do you think he's learned in 1 year? I'm sure that this is a question that the nerds on Reddit would be able to tell us that if like Paul has ever done like a Periscope of him watching his season or whatnot. Do we have any sense of if Paul watched anything?
I mean, given his retell, I'd say no. He really doesn't understand what went wrong there.
James, like he really hates James.
Yeah, he's anti James, and he keeps saying, "Look, people don't understand. I took Nicole to the end because I respected her gameplay. James did nothing. I wasn't going to take him to the end," which of course is the wrong answer. He keeps. We're making the joke because he said the nerds on Reddit keep saying, if you would have took James to the end, you would have won $500,000. And of course, I instantly tweeted, if you would have took James to the end, you would have won $500,000.
What Paul needed to do was he needed to come on Rob Has a Podcast and do a season retrospective with me so that I can point out like all the details of his game.
He never seemed interested. He literally never cared.
Yeah,
never cared about anything. Even from the night that the finale took place, I talked to him in the backyard, and you can watch that interview, and he's like, who cares? Never cared. Like, hey, whatever. I came out here to have fun. I wanted to have the most fun. And in that way, I really do feel like that he has a lot of Tim Dormer in him. And I don't know if we talked about this at the time, but especially in the way that he's come back and is sort of like revered as like a returning player, the same way that Tim was from some of the people in that Big Brother Canada house. I feel like that they're on a similar trajectory. And I wonder if maybe that, Paul could ultimately be sort of like, doomed by not taking things seriously down towards the end if he gets that opportunity.
Yeah, I could see him losing because of the same mistakes that he made in terms of personal relationships and being a little too aggressive in terms of the language that he uses and the way that he treats people toward the end of the game. I could see him making the exact same mistakes and losing in the exact same way.
Okay. Let's go to Mr. Robot Taran. If Taran played Big Brother, would he be playing exactly like Cody Brent? What do you think?
Well, would he be playing exactly like Cody? Is that what the question said?
Yeah.
Sorry, there was a laugh in there.
Yeah.
No, I know. Obviously, as much as I throw shade at Taran, he'd be playing a lot better than Cody right now. I mean, Cody's just playing awful. I mean, let's be real. I love Cody from a television point of view. He has said some personally objectionable things that whatever. Let me actually, you know what? Let me just take 10 seconds and address that really quickly. Cody made some things. He said some things on the feeds about transsexuals and transgenders that I felt was really stupid, but I don't feel like there was any real homophobia there. He was just an ignorant straight boy. Like, he didn't know what he was talking about. And that's our job to teach him because he doesn't know what he's talking about. Someone like me, up until a year ago, I didn't understand the issues that transgender people face. But I've learned since then. And I feel like that Cody just needs to open his eyes a little bit. So there
yeah,
you go.
I watched that clip as well. Jessica's like, don't go there, and he's like, what? You think I care? What 0.00001% of the population? I think and he's trying to say that his military service says, what do you think that they're looking for my sympathy? I'm not sure if that was the exact word.
He said, do you think they're looking for my that they care, that they think that I care about their cause? Is what he said. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
So don't go looking for any he's not gonna be, he's
Just
not
don't be
winning
too hard on him.
friends,
He doesn't know what he's saying. He's an idiot. Okay, he's an ignorant idiot.
Stephanie wants to ask, wouldn't it have been better for Cody and Alex to work together secretly, a la Danielle and Jason? P.S. I love Brent's new haircut.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
I mean, sure, that would have been better, but
it would have been great.
Wanted nothing to do with him.
Yeah, I know, right? She wouldn't, and even now, she's probably going to nominate him if she wins HOH. So it's crazy to me. He has this affection towards her, and she just basically spit in his face. I mean, that's really unfortunate. It could have been really fun watching them. What an oddball couple. And by the way, they do have some chemistry together, Cody and Alex, because whenever they're like play fighting on the feeds, I retweeted this picture of Jessica in the HOH room watching on the closed caption while Cody and Alex were like sort of play fighting with a little bit of a sexual undertone on the feeds.
Oh boy.
Girl was pissed.
Well, I mean, he did accidentally call Jessica Alex during a heated session at night. Yeah. He's got that libertarian chemistry.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God, I forgot about that, Taran.
Jason Rivera, where does Dominique stand at this point? To me, she's the hardest to read where her head is at. Does she really have a side, or is she just in this for, just hanging in there, Taran?
I don't think she cares about sides too much. I think she cares about the relationships that she has, and I think that's a good place to be.
Yeah.
By the way, somebody like Dominique is somebody who drives me crazy because we look at the preseason interviews and we look at what they wrote in their bio, and then I'm expected to come on a podcast and say, this is what I think of this person. She has totally done the opposite of everything she said she was going to do. She said she was going to be feisty and tell people the truth, and which she has lied about her profession, and she has not told people the truth about what she's really thinking, and she has not been feisty. So she's playing great in the Big Brother house. I just wish she would have clued us in on that when I was trying to evaluate her during the preseason.
Clearly she played great in casting as well.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, we see this a lot where people will say anything to get on the show, and she might have felt like, okay, this is what they want from me. Let me give that back to them for my bio, but maybe we should pay more attention to what they're in your video as opposed to what they're saying in a bio. Trevor wants to know, do you think that Josh has been doing a good job staying out of trouble the last day or two? Brent, have you seen improvement from Josh?
I have seen improvement. However, earlier today, when Jillian, after the Christmas nomination, Jillian was in the diary room for a while. She comes out, she openly attacks Josh and says, basically she was real shitty to him and was like, I heard you're not voting for me to stay. And he can go off like that. I mean, boy, it does not take much to get him going. I really am nervous for him for the future, because anytime he's going to feel any heat, and it's going to come, people are going to think about nominating him. Someone he doesn't really like or have a great relationship with is going to win HOH. You're going to have to confront these demons in the house. You can't just pop off at everybody at every given moment. And I feel like he is probably going to do it a few more times.
Tries every day.
Yeah.
Tries every day in that house. I did like that moment in the show where, he's talking about how he's, misses his family. He's not going to see them. And, Mark, I thought really did a good job putting things in perspective. He's like, yeah, well, I'm never going to see my family again. So stop. Just stop. He's like, but no, stop. No buts.
But nothing.
Yeah. But nothing.
But nothing. Stop it. Okay. Let me see if Scott, let me know if we have any other questions. Otherwise, we'll start to wrap this up. Okay. Two-Tone, will Paul's pendant of protection carry the same cursed fate as Netta's 5 weeks of protection had in Big Brother Canada 5? Brent, do you see this being the likely outcome? Do you think that this will make Paul play harder than that he should be?
No, I feel like that them attempting to nominate him earlier today and then nominating Christmas might make him play a little bit harder, but I don't think the pennant by itself would make him play harder. I feel like that he's handled it a little bit better. I don't feel like he's going to overplay his hand as much as Netta did during Big Brother. It's obviously a shorter amount of time. And the other thing, too, is at least from the house guest perspective, they might be able to buy that this was more of a quote-unquote fair twist because it was done through, a set piece of gameplay called the Den of Temptation, and he happened to get it. Whereas the one that Netta got was just something they randomly introduced on the first night and said, "Hey, you're safe for 5 weeks." So I feel like he'll be able to play it off better. And
I think another important point is that lots of people are going to be getting temptations along the way. It's not just going to be Paul. And certainly some of them are not going to be as good, like this veto one. But there are going to.
The third one is great. Yes, the halting hex where you can cancel a live eviction on Thursday night. Still don't know how logistically it would work. I guess we're gonna if they employed that, we'd get a new HOH, but we'll have time to talk about that when it comes up.
All right. Well, we will find out more about all that as we move along. So, Taran, a lot of people have been asking in the preseason, will there be an LFC roundtable during Big Brother 19? Will you guys keep up the tradition? And I'm very happy to say the answer is yes.
Of course.
Taran,
yes.
What's coming up tomorrow?
I will be hosting the LFC Roundtable tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern. We're gonna all the LFC together. We're gonna talk about the season, the live feeds. It's all spoilers. It's a great show. We get into like some really great detail about everything that's going on. We get all the opinions. We fight with each other. It's a great thing.
Yes, okay. I mean, of course we're going to have a round table. As Rob recently told me a couple weeks ago, he loves me because he would have to pry the microphone out of my cold, dead hands. So, of course, I'm going to be there for the round table.
Right. I could fire Brent tomorrow. I'd need a restraining order.
I'm like, I'm here. Yeah.
Yes. There's no good and that's what that's what I love. I love the passion and the enthusiasm. So much better than I don't know. Don't ask me. So,
yes, and an important thing to note about the roundtable, we are going to pass on the live update Monday morning because we are going to all get together for the roundtable that evening. So there's no point in doing a double show essentially. So the roundtable will replace the live update on Monday morning.
And people have been asking me and tweeting me, I will join the morning show at some point. My sleep schedule's a little bit different than everybody. I'm like a vampire. I work nights. So I will get there eventually. But for now, Taran, Alex, Leona, and everybody else is holding down the fort.
And then, Taran, that I know it is a little bit of a moving target, but could you give us a rundown of when people could expect the live feed updates on the Facebook page and, of course, in the podcast feed?
So right now we're looking at a schedule where we're doing noon Eastern for these morning updates. We're going to be doing them, Fridays with you, Rob, and then Saturday, Sunday. We're going to skip Monday. Then we'll do Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday. Up in the air. Depends. We're going to look and see like how much has actually happened since that's the night of the live show. There may not be a lot to update. We're going to see how it goes. We'll let you know if there's going to be an update on Thursday. But as it stands, every day except for those Mondays and then potentially Thursday as well.
Yeah. No more asking me for emergency podcasts, people. Like we have podcasts at the Yin Yang now. We don't need emergency podcasts.
Yeah. 2 ways to make sure you don't miss any of it. You should like the Rob Has a Podcast Facebook page. That's where we do those Facebook Lives. You can ask your questions during those shows, or you should subscribe to either our RHAP Ups feed if you are already subscribed to Rob Has a Podcast, or if you are only interested in Big Brother and not any of the Survivor or other content that we do, you could subscribe to the Big Brother podcast feed that's available in iTunes. And of course, your feedback and star ratings are very much appreciated on all the podcast feeds here at the start of the season because it helps more people find the show. All right, what's the hashtag tonight?
But nothing.
But nothing. Yeah, there was that
nothing.
One. Yeah.
Hashtag bad mojo.
Yeah, bad mojos. Yeah.
Bad mojo.
Yeah, I like that mojo.
All right, let's go with that. And of course, we will have a lot more coming up all this week. We're off to a fast start here on Big Brother 19. Of course, thanks so much to Scott St. Pierre behind the scenes tonight, and to our sponsors at Simply Safe. To see all of the offers from our sponsors, you can always go to robhasawebsite.com/ offers. I'll be back on a Wednesday night with more Big Brother, and Thursday night and News AF is on the way as well. So take care, everybody, and have a very happy 4th of July. And to our friends in Canada, happy Canada Day this weekend. Take care, everybody. Bye.